All right, we're going to get started, you guys. This is an amazing topic that a lot of people ask me about, and that is how to close the deal with people, how to talk to them and just move them through that sharing process a little bit faster. And I just want to welcome you guys who are on here tonight and taking time with us. And if you guys are catching this recording, I thank you for taking time as well to catch that. So my name is Tina Waltersdorf, and we're going to talk tonight about closing the deal. Do you ever feel frustrated with people when you're in conversation with them and you've just shared a whole bunch of things with them and they literally drop off the face of the earth and you don't even know what happened? Sometimes you can feel frustrated when this happens. Put in the chat if you've had this happen and if you felt frustrated when this happens. And I would say, of course, this is going to happen to everybody. We're going to get frustrated when we're sharing people and spending time with people. But some tips that I'm going to give you guys tonight, hopefully you can walk away with some good tips and change things up a little bit that's going to help you and just help that exposure process go faster so that we can avoid less of that happening to us. So the exposure process is going to be huge in how effective you are with being able to close the deal with a prospect, and that's people that you're talking to. There's certain types of things to ask and certain types of things that we want to send to them. It's important to keep it super, super simple, not saying too much or, being careful to not get them in overwhelm and things like that. There's a couple of things that can be really, really destructive to closing and making someone kind of just veer off and go the other way or run away. You guys, I have to tell you, when I first started Plexus, and some of you have heard this before when I've said it anyways, is I used to literally puke Plexus. I used to think I had to be an expert, and I did all the things wrong that you could possibly do. And it was all out of just excitement. I was just so excited. But sometimes, a lot of times in the beginning of my journey, I would just share too much. And I'm going to get to that in just a second and why. So there's a couple of things that can be really destructive to closing. And one is the speed of the conversation is just moving way too slow. Too much time in between your prospect, too much time in between in conversation with your prospect can give them more time to feel doubt, maybe fear can set in, and they can get more hesitant and lose excitement. This can also make you feel frustrated because you've spent all this time sending them things and trying to educate them and trying to get them excited. So the speed of the exposure is super, super important. It's like you're sitting across the table from them and you're just having this conversation back and forth. So imagine if you're sitting at the table with the person you're talking to. Sometimes we forget that, like, I'm sitting across the table from them. How am I going to talk to them? So even in Messenger or text, just remind yourself of that. What would I say in person? You're going to keep that back and forth conversation going where you ask a question, they answer, and you're just back and forth. Second thing that can go wrong is by sending way too much information. I told you guys I did this in the beginning, way too much stuff. I puked Plexus. Maybe trying to be an expert. I did that as well. Maybe someone sending just, 2 videos and 2 articles and sending information about things the person never even asked for. Sending long information sheets that are like 5 pages long. Some people think that the more information that you send, the more convincing you will be for them to decide and for them to say yes. Sometimes we just think the more information I send, like I'm going to send the science and I'm going to send all the things, and they're going to be convinced that this is for them. But that simply is not the case. People generally don't care about more information. They care about results. They care if they're going to get results, and they care about your experiences. So your experiences and other people's experiences are what they need to see. They're a little worried it's not going to work for them. And by you giving them 10 articles on gut health and 5 videos, it's not going to convince them. And they simply don't have the time to read all that stuff and to listen to all those things. And like I said, I'm here, I'm vulnerable. I did all those things. So we need to speed up the exposure process and create that moment of closure. Think of this, we talked about what not to do, right? So think of this as spoon feeding them, only sharing information with them, what they need to know, only sharing those things, those answers to the questions that they actually have. The more you give, the more complicated they feel it's going to be for them. They feel like it's going to be an overwhelming, complicated experience. So we don't want to give too much information. Information overload is totally not necessary. So say someone comments on your post, or maybe they private message you, or maybe it's someone you know that you've reached out to and you have a relationship that you've been building with them, and you're asking them if they would be open to learning about plexus. So that right there is 3 different scenarios that could happen, right? And you've reached out to them and they give you a yes. What do you do then? And what do you say? When they say, sure, I'd love more information, or sure, I'd love to hear it. One question before sending a video is that you want to collect data. So think about this. We want to learn more about them. So you want to learn more about them. You can tell them something like this. I am so happy that you're open to learning more. We have a variety of supplements designed for different things, and I'd love to hear about you. What would you say are your top 3 health goals? So that's such a good place to start. So we're going to start by collecting data after they've said yes, right? They will tell you what they're struggling with, and this will move you into that next step because we want to move through it faster. After they've shared with you what they're struggling with or those health goals, and some of you guys might share that symptom graphic, because we know sometimes people will say, well, I just want to lose weight and I want my skin to be better. And sometimes if we dig a little bit deeper, we can say, like I'll say, I have a really neat chart I would love to show you as well. And just make sure that I'm getting a really good idea of things that you're struggling with. I love that you just shared your health goals with us or with me. And we can share that graphic. You guys all have seen that graphic before. And sometimes you'll see they may circle 8 to 10 to 18 or 20 different things that we didn't know about. So that really, really helps you get an idea of like you're collecting data. And then after that, just be super compassionate with them. You can say, thanks for opening up about that. It helps so much so that I can steer you to the perfect fit. Because I want to be sure you have the perfect fit. I know exactly what will benefit you and have seen it help my friend Susie or whoever. Or maybe you don't know yet who it's helped, but you're going to find out soon. So you could say something like, I know that this will benefit you and I've seen it help with a friend of mine with the same thing. I think you would do best with, and this is where you can recommend that perfect welcome pack that you have all the images saved on your phone. So you can be scrolling through your phone as she's sharing with you. You can be looking through those graphics of the welcome packs and pick out a really nice one for her. And you can say, I think this one would be best for you, about a great package to start with. Okay, so you're showing her that. So you've recommended a package, and you can say, if I send you a 2-minute video and a story about my friend, could you take a look at it right now? And that's really, really key to ask those questions. And again, we're having that like back and forth conversation where you're asking a question and they're answering and you're back and forth, just like you're sitting across the table. So if I send you a 2-minute video and a story of my friend, could you take a look at it right now, right? Then you might think, well, what video do I send? There's 2 videos that I really, really like. And one is the microbiome video and the other one is the triplex video. So how do you know what video to send to who? So if they've shared with you that they've got chronic health issues, they're just more complicated. They have a lot of different things going on and maybe no weight to really lose. Maybe that's like the least of their worries, possibly. Then I would send the microbiome video. If they are like, I need to lose weight and they also need gut health and they need blood sugar balance, then that plexus triplex video is really, really, really great. So that's how I would choose those, or how you can kind of decide which one to send. So after she says she can watch the video, then you can say something like, okay, great. While you watch the video, I will go grab my friend's story. You guys have heard me say this before. You're keeping her in the car with you right now. We want to keep them in the car. So you're telling her, while you watch the video, I'm going to go grab my friend's story. And I'm telling you, all of us in Plexus are friends, right? We're going to go find a story. So you're keeping her in the car, giving her something to do while you go grab that story. So then she's watching that video. Go look in our health and wellness lounge. There's a little search bar there. You can search anything: Hashimoto's, Lyme disease, celiacs, migraines, energy, sleep. You can put those keywords in there, and those testimonies are going to pop up. And you can do this really, really quickly. In fact, I would encourage you, if you've never done that before, just like go experiment with it. Type in something. So you can find a testimony on about anything there, pretty much. Then go back and say, here's my friend's story, and I really feel aspects of this really sound a lot like you. So you may not find a testimony, you guys, that is exactly, but you can say, I really feel aspects of this story really sound a lot like you. Then tell her you'll check back in a few minutes to see what she thinks. Okay? And that's how you can move that conversation along. If they can't watch it right now, and she's like, you know what, I can't watch it right now, I'm busy, I'm taking the kids to soccer, I'm cooking dinner, and I have guests coming at 7 o'clock. So if they can't listen, you just say, no problem. When do you think is a good time to take a listen? Again, a question. You're going back and forth in conversation. If you go ahead and send a whole bunch of things, when they cannot watch it right then, it'll just get lost in their messenger. It becomes less important to them. It might be a top priority to us, but it's not a top priority to them at all. I also used to do that all the time. Be like, I'll just drop you all this information, check it out when you can. I used to do that all the time. And I lost people left and right. And it's really hard to come back and like recapture that conversation with them again. So like I said, it's less important to them. It's more important to us. If they say tomorrow morning is better, then schedule a follow-up appointment with them and say, great, tomorrow at 9 a.m. So you're giving them a time. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'm going to check in with you and send you the information. Then we can chat some more tomorrow morning about it. The next morning, be on time, and you can say, hey, Jenny, this is the next day. Hey, Jenny, I have that video and story for you. Is right now a good time to take a look at it? Again, we're asking that question. We're not just going in there and saying, hey, Jenny, I have that video and story for you. Here they are. We're going in and saying, is right now a good time for you to look at it? Because we want to be sure when we send the information that they have time to look at it, because we want them to stay in the car and we want that conversation always flowing and going back and forth. So where it goes bad is when, where it goes on for 24 hours or 48 hours later. It's hard to recapture those conversations. So you want it to be as smooth as possible. Is not always going to work this way. I totally know that. It's not always going to work this way. And that's okay too. But when you get a chance to have this happen and you work hard to have that happen, it really speeds up that exposure process and gets people signed up a lot quicker. So you've sent information. 3 minutes later, you're asking the follow-up questions, right? So we've sent the information. We've met her that next morning. We're sending those follow-up questions, and they can be something like this. So you might want to write these down, or you can come back and watch the video later. So they can be, follow-up questions can be, could you relate to anything in that video? Or you could say, what stood out to you in that video? Or does the story remind you of yourself in any way? I love asking that question when I send a story. Or you can say, what did you find interesting about the information in the video? I love that too. So those are just some examples of follow-up questions. So In one of our groups, we have where we follow up. Those are great follow-up questions that you can have when you've been sharing. So they will respond, and if they are positive, and if she's realizing so much and really relating to it, we all love when this happens because it's like you're talking to someone who just gets it. Then it's your job to move in for the close. At this point, you've already shown them what they need. They are interested, they are responding positively. Be careful because you can slow the process down by sending more information they never even asked for, by overwhelming them and making them think of all these other things, when really what you should be doing at this point is just closing the sale. So be aware of that. And I have done all of these things wrong and right. And so I'm talking from experience. This is me falling on my face, learning and getting up. We can be right there and we think we have to send more, but you don't. You've already got everything that you need, and it's time to just close the sale. If they felt like they related, then your job is to close the sale. They're super excited. So this is where you make the offer. You can say things like, and these are kind of key things you can write down or you can come back to it as well. So if they feel like they related, then your job is, wait, what did I just say? I just said that. Danielle, hello. You're going to feel, you can say things like, so this is where you can make the offer. You can say things like, you're going to feel so much better. Does it sound like something you'd like to do? Here's where we're closing. Or you could say, let's get you started. I can't wait to see you feeling better. Does it sound like something you would like to try? Or here's another one. This is the one I love. Wow, Jenny, I'm so excited you're relating to this and you see the value this is going to add to your life. I have 15 minutes until I need to go pick up my daughter. I could call you really quick and show you this package on the website and show you how simple it is to help you get started. How does that sound to you? That's the one I love, and that's the one I say all the time. Maybe not in those exact words, but basically that's what I say because I want to get them on the phone. I already know that they're ready, and so I'm ready to move them to that next step, and that is we're going to start. So I'm making the offer, and I'm asking them if they are ready to go. People just want to know that you are confident, and they want to know that they want to feel like they can trust you, and they want to know that they want to feel that you know what you're talking about, and your excitement and your experience is so key. So this is what people need from you in order to say yes. They don't need an overload of information. They just need your excitement, your experience, and just very little information, and just keep it simple, sweetie. KISS, keep it simple. How's that go? Keep it simple, sweetie. I don't know, is that right? Do I have it right? Something like that. I think the other S stands for something else. But anyway, I hope that those tips helped you guys a ton. I would go back and maybe if you want to write down some of those extra scripts that I gave you guys, those are key. I actually have them in my notes on my phone so that I can just copy paste it really easily when I'm messaging people if you don't have it memorized. Does anyone have any questions? All right. Awesome. Okay, that is all I'm going to have for tonight. If you want to stay on for a goal setting, this will probably take 5-10 minutes just to go over some quick things on goal setting, and for June, you can gladly stay on. I'm going to stop recording and we'll continue with that. So you're welcome to stay on for that, but thank you for hopping on tonight. And if you're catching this recording, thank you so much as well.